This is NDTV. And you're watching Ndtv-Hindu.
Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Ndtv-Hindu. I'm Ramanathan. The top stories tonight. A rap on the knuckles for the Moral Brigade. The Supreme Court squashes all cases against Khushbu for her remarks on premarital sex.
I'm very happy for her, and justice has won.
Khushbu is elated. She tells Ndtv-Hindu that she was confident that justice would prevail. Lalita accuses the UPA of adopting double standards, forcing Shashi Tharoor to quit, but letting A. Raja cling on to his post in the cabinet. The government says the Indian spy Madhuri Gupta did not have access to critical information, but she exposed other Indian undercover agents. 3 murders in 48 hours in Chennai. Will the city police arrest the rising crime graph? MGR's grandnephew pays a tribute to the legend in the virtual world. And a song on Sachin will soon become a caller tune on mobile phones.
Sachin, Sachin, I've had the best.
Well, our top story today, reprieve for Khushbu. Finally, after years of facing strong criticism and scathing attacks, which could traumatize anyone, here's a flashback of those ugly, shameful protests. It was an innocuous interview that landed Khushbu Sundar in trouble. Her comments on premarital sex were misinterpreted, quoted out of context and condemned by groups in the name of Indian culture. Sam Daniel takes us through this actor's fight for justice. Justice finally delivered by the Supreme Court of India.
Big relief for Tamil actor Khushbu, 5 years after she spoke on the subject of premarital sex in an interview to the Tamil India Today. The Supreme Court has quashed all 22 criminal cases filed against her by the Moral Brigade, mostly fringe political groups of Tamil Nadu. In that interview, Khushbu had said no educated man would expect his fiancée to be a virgin. But when involved in premarital sex, a woman should protect herself from becoming pregnant and contracting sexually transmitted diseases. Enraged protesters said Khushbu's reference to live-in relationships as a norm was unacceptable, derogatory to women and against Tamil culture. Even the Madras High Court refused to dismiss the cases. The actor was subjected to a living hell, literally holed up in a home, harassed at odd hours. Chapels and eggs greeted her when she appeared in court, forcing her to tender a public explanation.
என்னை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் பெண்கள் கேவலப்படுத்துறது என் தாய் கேவலப்படுத்த எனக்கு என் தாய் கேவலப்படுத்தி நான் பேச மாட்டேன்.
Finally, the harrowed actor had moved the Supreme Court. While delivering its judgment, the Supreme Court asked, when 2 adults want to live together, what's the offense?
I knew that I'm going to get justice because I knew what I had spoken and I knew that I was right in what I had said. Though a lot of my sentences and words were misconcluded, so I just believed in myself.
I know what are the pains that she went through when this case was on, and I'm very happy for her, and justice has won.
Certainly a triumph for freedom of expression. But the Tamil film industry is quite guarded. None of the top Tamil stars are willing to comment on camera, scared that the political groups may turn their anger against them. With Arunachalam Vaidyanathan in Delhi and Jude in Chennai, Sam Daniel, for NDTV.
Now, Executive Editor Sanjay Pinto and Senior Editor Radhika Iyer spoke to Khushbu, BJP Vice President Dr. Tamarisai Soundararajan. They were also joined by our senior correspondent Pir Mohammed, who broke that story 5 years back, that story which got Khushbu into all the trouble. Let's listen in.
In fact, we've got a special discussion lined up. Joining Radhika and me on the News at 8, we've got Mrs. Tamilisai, Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan, Vice President of the BJP, somebody who's a staunch critic of Khushbu and of comments on premarital sex. Also, Peer Mohammed, senior correspondent with Ndtv-Hindu, who's joined us recently. Peer, it's great to have you on board here. Peer Mohammed is the one, Radhika, who actually broke that story many years ago. He used to work for India Today, the Tamil news section. He in fact, did that controversial interview with Khushbu. He'll tell us more about it through this discussion. We're also joined all the way from London by Khushbu Sundar, the lady at the center of the storm. Khushbu, congratulations first.
Thank you very much, Sanjay.
Khushbu, I mean, you've been the victim of the moral police. Were you expecting this reprieve from the Supreme Court? There was an inkling at some level when the Supreme Court said that what's wrong with two adults living together?
Yes, I was expecting this verdict because in the last hearing what we had at Supreme Court, I was present in the Supreme Court, and then my doubts were cleared that I was very sure I'm going to get my justice.
Right, Khushbu. Radhika, this side, I'm sure it's a very happy news for you, and you've been celebrating all day long. We've been seeing your Facebook status messages thanking people who've stood by you. But the very fact that we were discussing even with P, the fact that you stood by your statement all through, how tricky was that for you? And were you expecting a day like today, or were you still insecure about the statements that you had made?
I was never insecure, Radhika. I think if they had to take me another 4 years, I would have still fought for it, because I knew what I had spoken. Peer is very much present at the panel for you. Peer knows what statements I had given. So these statements which were finally misquoted by the other press, and then they were changed as per the requirements and comfortability of these certain political parties. I think I knew that I had to fight it out, but it's not going to be easy. I was sure of. But then finally it's been done.
All right, stay on the line, Khushbu. In fact, Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan, ma'am, how do you respond? Isn't it a slap on your face? I mean, not on your face, but on the face of parties and groups that protested, that staged those ugly scenes, ma'am?
No, not ugly scenes.
They're not ugly. Showing slippers and brooms and throwing eggs is not ugly, ma'am.
What I want to tell, the same right what Khushbu has to express her feelings, the same right the opposite people to express their anger, they have the same right, but they have crossed the limit.
What was the reason?
No, they have
crossed the reason for the anger?
They have crossed the limit, I understand and I accept it, but they have the same right, but you are exclaimed that it's a very great day for Khushbu, but it's a very sad day for Indian culture.
What is Indian culture, ma'am? Showing slippers and brooms, Indian culture?
No, what she has told, they have opposed, they have shown their anger.
Supreme Court of India has, no, ma'am, you can't outshot me. Supreme Court of India has given Khushbu a clean chit, period. What is your problem?
As a citizen of India, as a woman in this India, as a part of the womanhood of this India, great cultural country, I cannot accept even.
Do you come to the rescue, ma'am? Do you come to the rescue? Do you come to the rescue of women who are battered and beaten by their husbands?
Definitely.
You come to the rescue.
Yeah, we are.
You're not doing it for cheap publicity.
No, we are coming to the rescue.
Publicity, cheap publicity.
Not cheap publicity. What I am telling, what Khushbu did is only cheap publicity.
Khushbu, let's
what she did is only cheap publicity.
Dr. Tamilisai Soundararajan here in our studio, Vice President of the BJP, accuses you of actually giving that interview to Peer Mohammed for cheap publicity.
No, Sanjay, I would like to know, anger for what? Are they even sure? Were they present? Did they go through the interview properly? Which statement they find as so controversial, and which statement of mine they feel is of cheap publicity? I am someone who has gained my honor, my name, my fame, my celebrity status is due to my hard work as an actor. I don't need to stoop to a level to gain such cheap publicities. I've already been a celebrated actress for 20 years of my career. So where is the cheap publicity coming from, ma'am?
Right, that's not cheap publicity.
No, I want to enforce, she has told with hard work, she has attained that celebrity status. What I want to say, that celebrity status should be beneficial to the society. As a celebrity, her words are taken very serious by.
You don't go and watch her films and clap.
Very serious by the youngsters.
You're a fan of Khushbu.
And I am a fan of Khushbu. Definitely, I am a fan of Khushbu. My worry, her movies, her Khushbu, even her television workup, her Tamil. In spite of being a different person from different state, her Tamil, one I wanted as a celebrity, when they utter some words, as a doctor I am telling, when Rajinikanth and Manorama advertise for polio drops, the people from village come and ask us, please give Rajinikanth medicine. Please give Manorama medicine. So I want to know when a
you're a doctor.
is
I want to ask
telling
you. Sorry to interrupt you. You're a doctor.
Yeah.
Khushbu said if you are forced into a position of premarital sex, you should take precautions. In other words, wear condoms. Doctors and in fact the health ministry should have used her as a brand ambassador for its AIDS campaign, ma'am.
No, what that itself
Right,
I'm
right
against.
or no? You agree with me?
What I am telling, this is against the culture. Because when they
Using
go
condoms against culture?
No, because they cannot go for anything and they can advertise for condoms. That condoms in unavoidable situations only condoms should be used. That it's not that to prevent AIDS go for sex with condoms. It's not like that. In unavoidable situations condoms should be used. That is the message. I cannot.
We are perhaps drifting away from the debate. Let's talk about her comments, not just on premarital sex, but the indication that you get from today's verdict from the Supreme Court. Do you think that the verdict given by the Supreme Court is something that has perhaps redefined culture for women in India?
No, it has redefined, but
you agree it has redefined culture?
It has redefined culture, but I, as a citizen of India, I cannot accept because the Supreme Court has told that we cannot accept that. Because judgment, even the judges won't feel if a person from their family take that they won't accept.
Peer Mohammed, do you believe, Peer Mohammed, all those people who are armed with brooms and slippers and rotten eggs, it's, you know, do you believe that those people had any inkling of what the interview actually did with Khushbu? What did Khushbu exactly say, if you can tell our viewers? It's a case of court-martial here.
Yes, Sanjay. In fact, she was talking with concern in the first 4 paragraphs of that guest column there, which she did for India Today. In fact, we went to her. She did not come to us. Because of her celebrity status, we went to her and asked her opinion. Because she is an outspoken personality, we went to her. And she talked about it, 4 paragraphs. She was talking about how to safeguard, how young women should safeguard against in a situation of premarital sex or in a dangerous situation, how they should safeguard themselves. She talked about the case of Stephanie, who in fact was knocked down by her stalkers on Radhakrishnan Road the same year, 2005. She was talking with concern. One sentence, which this moral brigade objected to was about, she talking about the educated men should not expect their brides to be virgins. That is the point these people picked up, and that is one sentence out of.
That exactly was the most controversial version. But if I might get in Khushbu again, Khushbu, the fact that, of course, it's a day of victory for you, but the larger picture, again, is it an indication from the Supreme Court, the verdict that has come out from the Supreme Court? Do you believe that this has a sort of redefined culture for women in India? Do you believe that statements such as, men not expecting women to be virgins before marriage, are men ready today for a statement like that? Are you willing to agree that this verdict has indeed redefined culture for women in India?
See, I will tell you that statement was made as, I want to ask every man who's getting married to a woman, ask him, how many of them have gone ahead and asked their would-be wives, are you a virgin? Who raises this question today? Nobody does it. Nobody does it. No person in the society goes around and says, listen, are you a virgin before I'm getting married to you? Nobody does it. So what is wrong with that statement? My statement was very clear. No educated person will expect his wife to be a virgin. Does not mean that it's fine that if she would have indulged in premarital sex. They don't raise this question at all. In today's world, you don't need that kind of a question at all. Because we women, we don't turn around and ask the men, listen, am I the first woman you're going to sleep around with? Are you a virgin?
In fact, we live in a country where we have women who are beaten out of pubs. We live in a country where, for wearing a mini skirt, if she is a celebrity, she becomes a victim of moral brigade. What then is your message once again to this moral brigade? The question we are asking, in fact, on this show is, should the moral brigade mind its own business? Do you think that this victory is an indication for such incidents that have happened in the past?
Yes, of lately you have these kind of moral brigades sprouting up in every corner. I mean, who is anybody to dictate terms as to how an independent individual should live? Nobody has the right to dictate terms except for the parents, to dictate terms and tell them that this is how you're going to live your life.
Khushbu, now that the Supreme Court has backed your stand and given you that clean shit, are you going to let this be? Is this a closed chapter now? Emboldened by the Supreme Court decision, are you now going to seek legal recourse against those who hounded you in the past?
Sanjay, I haven't taken a call on that because that is something which has to be spoken and thought over it and pondered over it. But then since I'm back, day after tomorrow morning, on 30th morning, after that I'll be definitely thinking about it, but nothing has been decided as yet.
Right, joining us now from Madurai is T. Kannan, the organizing secretary of Hindu Makkal Katchi, one of the groups which led the attack campaigns against Khushbu. Sir, the Supreme Court has given a verdict favouring Khushbu. Is this a slap on the face of the moral brigade and all those like you who raised their voice against Khushbu's interview?
No, we don't think it as a slap on the face for us, because the entire case was blown out. The real thing was not given to the Supreme Court. So,
if not this, then what is the correct picture? Is it a setback, isn't it?
No. You see, we don't think it as a setback to us. The case is wrongly projected. Even Khushbu or the other guy, the dirty face of Tamil culture, Kamal Hassan, who advocates live-in relationship. See, he had 4 or 5 live-in relationship with a lot of females. The females are the sufferers. No. See, when he says something, he should adopt. He must obey to that. Even Khushbu had a live-in relationship with the actor. We didn't question her credential. But when she came out and when she said certain things about the Tamil culture and Tamil people, she is not. If Khushbu is answering any question as Nakat, we don't have anything to question Khushbu. We don't have anything to question Nakat. Since once she got the name Khushbu and she became the matinee idol of the Tamil cinema, she is representing the Tamil cinema society. She is representing the society. She should have been careful in her words to answer all these things.
Right, Mr. Kannan, thanks a lot for joining us. Mr. Kannan there, the organizing secretary of the Hindu Makkal Katchi, still not willing to give up his point of view. And moving on, up next, where in the virtual world can you find a unique collection of MGR? Stay tuned to find out.